Okay, I sound ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna pop on. Hello, everybody. I'm not gonna do the singing. I've been doing the mumbling. All right, everybody. I'm coming on. Let me make sure I have the right camera. There we are. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Where's my music? Music. There you are, music. How's everyone doing today? One second. Let me quick pop this on. Let's see. Oh, hey, Vera. Good to see you. Long time no see. Also, everyone, please send Vera a congratulations on her 10-year channel anniversary. For those of you who don't know, Vera, who is Council of Geeks in the chat and runs the Council of Geeks channel, is a wonderful person, one of my amazing friends, makes amazing content. We do the Jumpgate Babylon 5 podcast together. And it's her 10th anniversary here on YouTube. So hell yeah, a cheers to Vera. And actually, this cup is for you, Vera. This cup is for you, if you can see what that is. This is for you. In honor of you, Vera, this cup is for you. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing today, though? Angie, Moonflower Gal, Mike, Homebody, Super Desi, Emmeline, Book Trex. Good to see you. I like the name, Book Trex. I'm gonna apologize in advance. I swear I'm not drunk or high in any way. I have just been recording voiceover for a video. And I've noticed that since my surgery, since I'm still healing, if I talk for a significant amount of time, which is my job, I start slurring my words a little bit because my mouth is still healing a little bit. So, apologies in advance if I'm like sounding like I'm drunk today. I swear, this is literally just some coffee in here. I swear I am not drunk. But hello, everybody. I hope everyone's doing good. Let me know if my audio balance is good, but for those of you who don't know, this is my weekly chat stream where I just talk with all of you. And hello, there's a bug in my house. What the heck? Hello, buddy. Sorry, bud. Gotta kill you. Love you. I say as I murder you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I say I love you to bugs. I'm sorry, bud. Trash. Alright. Anywho, sorry, bug. But no, this is my weekly chat stream where I hang out with everybody. We talk about whatever you want to talk about. I respond to super chats with a heart, and I obviously answer your question. I try to pay attention to the chat as best I can, and try to get balanced as best I can. But super chats are appreciated because they do help pay the bills. But other than that, we just hang for an hour. Normally I do these at 6. I'm doing this early today because I actually have plans tonight to watch the Lord of the Rings TV show with a friend of mine. I'm very excited. I'm gonna get sushi. We're gonna get sushi. We're gonna get beer. I'm watching Lord of the Rings. And I'm very excited about it. You don't know? I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so very excited about all of that. Anywho, yeah, that's the long and short of it. Anyways, sorry, I'm just getting that out of the way so I can actually focus on how everybody is doing. Oh, Homebody, thank you so much. I'm feeling really good about my surgery. Like, it's weird. I was actually just talking with a friend the other day about it. It's like, you know, I still had a little bit of dysphoria right after the surgery because of like things healing and things like that, like my skin being a little saggy and puffy. Even a few weeks after, but every single day, like over the past like couple weeks, I keep looking in the mirror and I'm like, is that me? Is that me? And it just feels weird. And like I look at like old videos and photos of mine. I'm like, is that me? It creates this interesting like dissociation with your past self that I've experienced in other forms of transitioning, but just with the face, it's just like, wow. It's weird. It's interesting. So yeah, still healing up a little bit. I'm not perfectly there yet, but it's weird. It's a weird feeling. Captain Omni, heart to you. Well, thank you for being a patron, and you've been around here for a while. I also have 0 access to Discord. Yeah, well, Captain Omni, thank you for being a patron. Thank you for the super chat. I share out the Discord link at the beginning of every month, so I scheduled it. It should actually be up right now. It should have gone live at 4 o'clock. So if it's not up now, it should be up soon. But yeah, there'll be a Discord link posted on the Patreon that you can jump into at some point today. So if you want to get in the Patreon Discord, it should be up now. Should have literally just posted like 2 minutes ago. But if not, it should be soon. Lady Tyler Bio Rodriguez, heart to you, said, I'm doing really good researching for a project on Alice Keiteler, the first woman accused of witchcraft in Europe in 1324, also possibly first recorded serial killer. Interesting. See? Even women, the first recorded serial killer. Like, women just do things better and first and don't get the credit for it. All these men coming out here being like, look, I'm a serial killer, you know, blah, 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 blah. But women were here doing it first. And they were witches. Because witches also get stuff done. I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry. No, that actually sounds like a really cool project. That sort of stuff is just, like, dark but interesting. So I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, that's awesome. I hope that's fun if it were. I'm sure it's, but especially when it's so long after the event, I'm sure it's a little bit more fun than like if you're researching a serial killer today, where it's like dark and much more dark and depressing. Not that researching olden serial killers didn't do damage or weren't harmful or terrible, but slightly more intriguing, you know, in that true crime sort of way. Let's see. Faith Gov, Hearty, thank you so much for the super chat. Have a good dinner, Vera. It was good to see you. Chloe, heart to you, said getting over a cold, at least I hope it is. Hopefully it is just a cold. It's getting that time of year. We're starting to get into fall, though it doesn't feel like it in a lot of parts of the world, especially, heart to everybody in China, by the way. If anyone, and Jacksonville actually too. If anyone hadn't heard, China is experiencing one of, if not the biggest heat wave in recorded human history right now. I forget exactly where in China off the top of my head, but it's happening and that really sucks and it's super scary. So that's wonderful. And then also Jacksonville is also having issues with their water recently. So sorry to get dark on the climate change front there, but sending love to everybody in those places dealing with those things. So yeah. John Harty, you said, been discovering obscure musicals on Spotify. I would love to know what some of your faves are. Obscure musicals. I'm not a big musical person, John. Like, I like some musicals, like Repo the Genetic Opera, if you count that as a musical. But I never was, like, a big musical person. I liked some of the big ones, obviously, that, like, everyone likes. Like, Wicked and things like that. Spam-A-Lot I enjoyed as a kid growing up. Like, those sort of weird ones. But never was, like, a huge musical fan. Assassins was a fun one, though I don't know how well it holds up, but I always liked that. I got into that from like Neil Patrick Harris and stuff being in the recorded version of it. But yeah, I couldn't, I'm not like a super like niche musical person, unfortunately. So that's sadly not who I was. The sci-fi nerd, not the musical nerd, though I wasn't a theater kid in high school. I was a theater kid, but not like a theater nerd, if that distinction exists. So yeah, it's sort of an interesting little distinction there. Kit Kat, heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sending you a little lovey fox guy too. Mwah. Bumblebee 790. What's your opinion of if a fine female at birth dwarf beards? I'm assuming you're talking about like dwarfs in Lord of the Rings, or a fine female at birth like beards just in general. I mean, I'm here for a fine female at birth folks like AFAB folks having dwarf beards. Hell yeah. Regardless of if they're, like, dwarfs, like, in fantasy settings, because I don't want to misconstrue that I'm using the word dwarf as a pejorative, but, like, dwarfs in fantasy settings, like, assigned female at birth, dwarfs in fantasy setting having beard, 100%, that's fucking awesome. I feel like dwarfs are just born with beards regardless of gender. I think that's just, they just pop out with the beard on, and I think that's just how they're good to go. It's like, all right, I'm here to mine some more and be greedy over treasure. I think that's just how that works, you know? Am I oh dear God. Am I like what equates to like a dwarf turf? Am I per token both genders have beards? Am I a dwarf turf? All real dwarves are all greedy for gold. Oh no. Many dwarf women are... Oh, that is true. I did remember that, Logan Mansion Gaming. Beard is a choice. That's what I am. I'm a dwarf. That's what I am, a dwarf. Newt, come back. Newt, and people are talking about Newt. We can get Newt in here in a minute. Because I know he's been sneaking around in the background. But I'm just catching up on some super chats here. Question, what is a super chat? LOL, Michael Ottoson. You just did it. I see what you did. You're incepting super chats. You're in super chaption. Super chaptions. Something along those lines. I think I just broke my brain. Lady Tyler, hard to use, said, also went out shopping the first time in a lovely blue dress. Not a single person was rude and several shop owners used the right pronouns. Hell yes! That is the best. especially when you're like a baby trans, just like figuring yourself out and like wanting to go out and like people are just kind and nice and not assholes, it's really important and it's really validating and it feels really wonderful. And it showcases how much like how simple things mean so much to trans people and can like radically change our views on life and our own experience, and how little it takes to not be an asshole. You know, I'm writing, I'm not gonna get into this whole thing right now because I kind of need a break from it, but one thing I was writing today, I'm working on an investigative video that gets into some really dark subject matter that talks about some alt-right people and stuff like that. But like one point that I make is like I'm talking about bad reporting on trans people within it, and like how like in a lot of articles by TERFs they'll dead name people and use the incorrect pronoun intentionally. And like the point that I make is like I'm not really deeply offended by them doing that as like a person. I more just find it kind of childish. Like it's just like not number one, it's just inaccurate, especially in some certain specific cases where like the person's legal name is changed. So like you're not even like accurately reporting the person's name, you're just dead naming them to be an asshole. I mean, they do that anyways regardless of whether they have their legal, you should use someone's name regardless of whether it's legally changed or not. But like if their argument is like we're just being accurate, you're being inaccurate by dead naming someone whose legal name is something different. Again, names legality doesn't necessarily equate to anything really in like a trans context or about a person. But even in those cases, like you're just being an asshole. And I'm not like people like Jordan Peterson like go like, oh, I'm so confused about pronouns and I don't know why this is the voice for Jordan Peterson that I'm using. This is my Jordan Peterson voice, I guess. I don't know what it is. But it's just like, I'm so confused by Elliot Page's name. I can dead name him and all that jazz. Like, I'm not, like, it's just like, you're just being a dick. It's not that hard. You're just being a dick. Anywho, going on to that, but I'm glad that you were treated really well. Sorry I got into a Jordan Peterson rant there, but I hope it was funny for you. But Lady Tyler, I'm so glad for you. Mwah. Sorry, my brain's in that place right now. As the title, I'm gonna apologize in advance. Live stream. My current brain is sitting in a unfortunate right-wing hole right now because as many of you know, and I'll get to the super chats too, but as many of you know, I'm doing a video. Jordan Peterson voice is gold. I'm doing a video on Matt Walsh, part 2. Unfortunately, that video is going to take a little bit longer for 2 reasons. One, unfortunately, I have an editor who's working with me on it. Some personal stuff came up in his life that unfortunately means he has to just delay working on the video a bit. Sucks, but obviously I want to make sure that he's able to deal with his own family stuff that's come up. And if he ever wants to talk about it, he can talk about it. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that. So it will still be coming, hopefully this month, probably by the end of the month. And then the second reason that it's actually going to be delayed is what I'm currently working on right now, is just because a subject that came up in the Matt Walsh video had become it was somewhat tangential, has become its own whole investigation, and is getting to a point where, this video is going to require the need for me to have a lawyer look at it, because I want to make sure I get my wording right in some of the things that I am going to talk about and expose, that right-wing people use as a, like, horrific alt-right misinformation pipeline. That has been my week. To the point where, like, I have to literally bring in a lawyer. So my brain is in that place right now. It's not a very positive place, which is why I need a break from it. So that's why the title of this video is what it is. Also my Slack, shush. Let me turn off my Slack here. Mute conversation so I don't have to deal with that. Cool. So yeah, anyways, that's where my brain is. So I apologize if my brain's there at some points during this stream. But I'm going to try and make sure we have more fun because I kind of need that at the moment. But that's just where my brain is at the moment, which kind of sucks. So, anywho, let me next step up, my pronouns are she, they, she and they. So anyways, let me quick catch up with some of the super chats because I don't want to fall too behind on them. Hard to you, Kyle Ellison. If I just said, have you ever heard of Six, the musical about the wives of King Henry VI, and it's meant to look like a pop concert, trying to determine which of them had it worse as Henry's wife? Oh God, that's an interesting. I've never heard of it because again, I'm not a big musical person. Not because I don't like musicals, just because I never was that kind of nerd. Not that I'm again not judging that kind of nerd. I would have gladly been that kind of nerd, just wasn't where my brain was. But no, I haven't heard of that. That sounds fascinating. I'd be curious about that one. It sounds up my alley in terms of like, yeah, being a woman sucks. Oh, and you're under like an asshole dude. So yeah, no, that'd be an interesting one. 255 AD, heart to you, my friend. You said, how'd you get in touch with Trek people to interview? All of the ones that I've done, most of them, I've just reached out to them. Either via Twitter or Gmail, stuff like that. Noah Everbatch Katz and Ian Alexander, both I just cold reached out to. And they were just very, very kind and gave me their time. Some of them had heard, like, I don't know if Noah had heard of me, but I believe Ian had heard of me beforehand. So because they had heard of me beforehand, they were like, oh yeah, of course I'll be on your channel. And then people like Jack Quaid and Bill Wolkoff, I actually met them in person first, in at events at like a Star Trek convention and stuff like that, and they knew me as well and said like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then other folks, sometimes I just like we mutual follow each other on Twitter. And I just reach out and say, hey, you interested in doing it? So that's how I generally get it. It's usually just very casual relationships turning into like, hey, would you like to do this? And they say yes. So yeah, 100%. That's the basic long and short of that story. Just catching up on Super Chats here. Domestic, thank you so much for watching the content I create. Mwah, you are lovely. I send you love, my friend. Adrian said, should I flee Florida? Ron may take up my chronic. I mean, here's the thing. If you do not feel safe in Florida and you are capable of doing so, hell yes. Get out of there, especially if you're like a trans person and don't feel safe. Same thing with like other states like Texas and stuff. The issue really is, I mean, again, I talked about this before. If you feel not safe in an area because of who you are and the laws that are happening and other things like that, yes, and you have the means to be able to leave, and you want to feel safe, yes. There are some people who argue, like, stay and fight, but, like, there's no obligation. Your obligation is to take care of yourself and protect yourself. The issue becomes not everyone has the ability to leave, has the money to leave. There will be people that grow up in these states after people leave, like people born afterwards that, will have to deal with these laws. So it's all about fighting as well, but at the end of the day, it's a personal decision whether you can leave. And if you have the capability to, you should, if you want to. But ultimately, not everyone has that ability to, which is why we still need to fight these things for obvious reasons. So, yeah, it's up to you, Adrian. I know it can be tough. It's a tough choice between wanting to stay where you live and your friends and family and things like that. I know it's not an easy choice, but if you're looking for someone to validate that choice is an acceptable one, 100%. I think it's okay. Yeah. John Vinnels, heart to you, said, don't know if you know this, but Goliath and Gargoyles and King Adrian and Amphibious share of... Oh, I didn't know that. I'm actually just started watching Gargoyles, as some of you know, and I'm loving it. I am loving Gargoyles. I'm not that far into it at the moment, but I just love the fact that, like, number one, we get Marina Sirtis, Troy, and Jonathan Frakes, and I love that it's just Jonathan Frakes being Jonathan Frakes. Like, he's not really putting up much acting, he's just literally just being Jonathan Frakes, and I love it. It's like, I'm weirdly turned on by this, billionaire asshole CEO dude. Because it's Jonathan Frakes. I can't hate Jonathan Frakes. I can't not be attracted to Jonathan Frakes. So yeah, it's a really great show. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only in the first season. But I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So. Oh, I'm sorry, Next Step Up. That sucks. There are, and I will say, in a lot of these states, while they have gotten reputations at like MAGA states, and they definitely is the case, there are places and people that you can go to, and communities of LGBTQ people in these states that do exist. So don't think that you'll be alone. It'll be harder and be difficult, and I'm sorry, and that sucks, and it's scary, but don't think that you are ever alone in those spaces. There are places to reach out to and people to find. It's just harder to find them. Yeah, so just know that. Just know that. Me too. Next step up. I'm an anarchist as well. Arcana. Heart to you. Thank you. Said, hey. First time doing one of your streams. Love your videos. Oh, thank you, Arcana. Mwah, sending you love, my friend. You are absolutely amazing. Peterson went on all meat diet and got sick from it. Yeah, I do know that. Are you watching the new season of What We Do in the Shadows? Yes, loving it. What We Do in the Shadows is great. One of my favorite shows. I actually have a, Jackie Daytona. That's my Jackie. That was actually pretty good, voice. I don't know what to say as Jackie Daytona. Give me like a line. Just hello, my name is Jackie Daytona. That's actually not half bad. Ooh. I'm actually kind of, wow, that's actually a really good, impression that I didn't know I could do. Anywho, that would be kind of a fun one to do, his character. Anywho. Yes, agree, B. Parker. FemShep is the only Shep. Let's see. Bumblebee790, heart to you. He said, I got called miss on a service call even though I'm using my birth name for the service. Oh, that's awesome. I'm assuming that's gendering you correctly. That's awesome. Those are always the nicest moments, Bumblebee790, where, like, I remember early in my transition, I would, like, have to call credit card companies and stuff to, deal with stuff, and I was putting out a little bit more of, like, a higher-pitched voice than, like, just, like, affecting one than I have now. And, like, people, like, started gendering me correctly, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Just being, like, when I'm not even attempting to try to pass, quote-unquote pass, and again, passing is its own whole complicated thing, but, like, it's like, oh, that feels good. I like that. That's kind of fun. The imposter is sus. That's actually not bad. Perfectly ordinary human bartender Jackie Daytona. Naja's great. Let's see. Watching you from Scrib Moonbeams, heart to you, says, watching you from separate rooms with my fiance and stepchild. Get well. Oh, yes. Get well, Mika and Shaolin. Mika and Shaolin, mwah. Sending you love. I'm assuming you're the fiance and stepchild. Mwah. Sending you both love. I'm assuming you're both sick. So hoping you're taking care of yourselves. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love to both of you. And love to you, Scribs, as well. So, mwah, to all three of you, thank you for being here, and please take care of yourselves, and I hope you're feeling better. Mwah. Angie P. Yay, I love my glasses. Thank you to your child. I don't know why I said child that way. That was weird. Child. Sorry, I'm in a weird brain mood right now. My brain's just been in that awful place, so now it's just kind of like, let's be wacky sort of feeling at the moment. Mr. Kieran, have you ever played Star Trek Tabletop RPGs? Yes, I have. I've written for them, actually. I actually wrote for the Star Trek Discovery character packs that they did. So I'm technically, officially, a paid Star Trek author. I got paid like $50, but I did it. So yeah, I am technically a tabletop Star Trek RPG author. So I have played it too. It's a lot of fun. Alright, catching up on Super Chat. Sorry. Missing any other ones? Got that one. Just making sure I'm catching up. Captain Omni, hard to use, said, do you think it's odd more people don't try to adapt the vast number of public domain superheroes the same way? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'll happen more. We're starting to see stuff like that. I mean, it's just like public domain superheroes aren't like getting as much attention, number one, and number two, like a lot of them are just because of the way that Disney has sort of pushed for things like copyright to go longer and longer and longer, things are just staying not in the public domain. So I think like a lot of the things that get attention are just like stalwarts of like the genre, like Sherlock Holmes or Dracula. And you don't really get to see a lot of, like, the characters that people would be interested in join the public domain as early as they could. Yeah, it sucks. But I just think it's just awareness. People don't really have an awareness of these characters. And at that point, it's like, if the people aren't aware of them, why not just create something new that's all your own, you know? The reason to use public domain stuff is if, like, you really like an idea that someone had and just want to draw from it, or... like, there's already an awareness bit. Like, if you make a Sherlock Holmes thing, people understand who Sherlock Holmes is. And it's like, if you're not going to get either of those things really from using a public domain thing, then there's, like, no real... it's just better to, like, create your own stuff. So. Let's see. Hey, Jessie, how was your day? Have you heard of the news Super Spider-Man Marvel announced? No, I didn't. I didn't hear this. What's this? Spider-Man. Is there some Spider-Man's news today? Was it a new movie or something that they announced? I didn't see a new Spider-Man whose identity is a massive spoiler. Interesting. It's just a new Spider-Man in a comic. I don't pay attention too much to the comics too much anymore. At least, I try to pay attention to DC stuff a little bit more. I just don't have the time or money, to really get into them a bunch. So yeah, I hadn't really heard that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's always interesting to see. Let's see. John Vinnell's Hard to Use said, Ramona Flowers, so Roxy broke up with me in order to be with this kid who had elemental powers and ADHD and was the savior of their homeworld. I'm just Ramona Flowers. I need to read Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the original. I watched the movie, obviously, but I never read the comics. So I probably should get around to doing that at some point. So, oh, thank you, Knit and Crochet Tiger. Mwah, sending you love. Oh, and Anki Renee, mwah, if you're welcome to the stream. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hope you're taking care of yourself and sending you love. Mwah. Hello, good friend. See. Ms. Wicked Wolf, what you gonna do when you reach 1 million subscribers? I don't even think I'll ever reach 1 million subscribers. We'll see. But I don't know if my growth will ever be that strong. Maybe one day. But if I ever do retire, maybe I'll retire once I hit 1 million and be like, I did it. I'm gonna go write in my cabin in the woods, write Star Trek episodes that one day someone, like when I die, people will find the scripts and produce them. That'll probably be what I do. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever reach 1 million subscribers. I'll celebrate in some way, shape, or form if I ever do, but I have no idea. Mystic Minds Analysis, you said, hi Jessie, if you're interested in getting into Warhammer 40k lore, I recommend starting with The Emperor's Gift by, okay, actually, yes. Because I was looking for some books to get into. I'm reading right now, Gideon the Ninth, which is a really fun, like, necromancer science fiction fantasy series. It's oddly specific. It's like political intrigue, necromancer, sci-fi. Very weird, and I'm here for it. And it's a lot of fun. But I'm looking for something. I wanted to always get into Warhammer 40k, but I was never really sure where to start. And I also wanted to get back into Dragonlance, because I love the Dragonlance books, and I know there's a new book out, but I was like, oh, do I want to jump back into this universe? Because there's a lot with Dragonlance. But what was the name of that book? You said The Emperor's Gift. Because I actually did... Everything I've heard about Warhammer, I've been interested in. Specifically that it's very anti-fascist and like a science fiction fantasy, which I also love. So I'm down for it. Emperor's Gift. Alright, I will check it out. Excuse me. Excuse me. Gideon the Ninth is great. It's a lot of fun. I love the character. Gideon's just like a petulant asshole kind of character who's just like, I don't really care. I don't want to do anything. And it's just kind of like a fun character to like follow through the book. So yeah, no, it's a fun series if you haven't read it. Renee D, actually, so like I said, I would love for you to do. Excuse me again. My mouth is all mushy from still recovering from surgery. You said I would love you to do some videos on Dragonlance. I grew up on those. I have always. If I ever become a big director and can make my own stuff, there are a few properties that I would love to adapt and like do an adaptation of. And I've always said this. One is obviously Star Trek. I would love to work on Star Trek. I also said Borderlands, the video game series. I would love, and I know they're doing one. I don't have any faith that it's going to be good. But dear heavens, would I love to do a Tales from the Borderlands movie. Like, so badly. So badly. I have such a clear idea on how to, like, do a Handsome Jack character. Unfortunately, I probably never will because they're making one and it'll probably suck. We'll see. Maybe it'll be good. I'm hoping it'll be good. But I would love to do a Borderlands one. But also, I would definitely love to adapt Dragonlance. If I was going to do Dragonlance, it wouldn't be a movie. I would love to... I mean, the thing is all in now today is, like, do series. And I was trying to do it before fantasy shows were cool. But I have such a perfect idea, I feel like, for how to adapt the Dragonlance series as a mini-series of... It would be my way to do it, if I could, in an ideal world. I would do 6 movies, like mini-series movies, not like big-budget movies, but like made-for-TV movies. Dragonlance ones. That, like, the first 3 would adapt the, like, original trilogy, and then the second 3 would be the Twins trilogy about Raceland, because Raceland is one of the best characters of all time, period, full stop. I adore to death Raceland. He is freaking amazing. One of my favorite characters. And I would just love to do that, and then be like, if people want to make more, sure, but those 3 I just want to do. I just want to make those 2 trilogies of films. It would be so much fun. So yeah, Dragonlance is great. It would be great. Captain Ami, I like trying stuff with public domain superheroes that has gone by this wayside, as a lot of them just didn't get a fair shake before dying out. Yeah, no, I mean, it'd be interesting. Be interesting to see what people could do with it. I'd be curious to see what you could do with it, but yeah. Let's see. James Hodge, Heart to You, said, hey, how's the new Lower Decks episode? I'm in Scotland, it's on Prime tomorrow, and I was planning to watch it on my lunch break at college tomorrow. I really liked it. Not my favorite one of the season, so far. I mean, there's only been 2 episodes, so I have to be careful with my words. I have already seen, because I got screeners for them. Some critics get screeners early, so I have gotten screeners for the first 8 episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks, and I'm not allowed to talk much about them, other than to say I really love them. They are fantastic. What I will say is episodes 6, 7, and 8 are my personal favorites. Episode 2 and 3. I like this one and the next one. They're not my favorites. 6, 7, and 8 are amazing. Like, legit, especially 8. Especially 8, I adore. And I'm very excited to see what 9 and 10 are going to do. I haven't seen those 2 yet. But the whole season is great. But 6, 7, and 8 in particular, I'm like, oh my god, I love these. These are fantastic. So yeah, get excited, because there's a lot of fun, especially number 8. If you are excited for Lower Decks, wait until episode 8. You will not be displeased, let me just say. And also interesting guest stars, and that is all I am allowed to say. So I'll leave it there. John Vinnell's Heart to You said, the reason I referenced The Americans on our last stream is because the main actor Matthew Rhys's career and voice. Oh, that's awesome. I just started watching The Leftovers actually this week. Dark show, but interesting show. I know it's not the same as The Americans, but it kind of gives me the same like tonal vibes as The Americans. So yeah, it's interesting. So Bumblebee 790, have you read April Daniels' Nemesis series about a trained super? I have. I read the first one, Dreadnought. I did not read the second one yet, but I read Dreadnought, and it's great. It's fantastic. Legitimately, if you are looking for a great transgender like book series to read, April Daniels' Nemesis series, starting with the book Dreadnought, is great. Again, the first book is just a great trans superhero story that like deals with TERFs, but it's also kind of fun, and it's like it allows a trans character to like have fun and have joy and get excitement without it being, but not like ignoring some of the like stuff that trans people face, and so it doesn't get like bogged down in it all the time. So I really recommend it. If you have not read the Dreadnought books, they're fantastic. I would highly recommend them. John Vinnell, Star Trek, hard to use. Star Trek and Gideon the Ninth crossover show exists. Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. I haven't finished Gideon the Ninth, so I couldn't really tell you the best way to do it. But it'd be interesting. I like Gideon the Ninth so far. It's a really fun book. Also, very sapphic. Very sapphic. Very sapphic. And I'm enjoying that too. Stay Hump 10, heart to you. You said, keep it up. Well, thank you, Stay Hump 10. Mwah, mwah. Keep it up to you as well. Mwah. Thank you, my friend. You said... Right, Dragonlance does beg for a Game of Thrones-esque Netflix HBO Prime Video series. Like, legitimately, I would love the hell out of seeing Raceland in live action. Like, all of the characters I would love to see. Also, oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? Oh god. It's been a hot minute since I read the books. A lot of the characters, I can't remember his name, so a lot of his characters in the Dragonlance books I would just love to see. But Raceland in particular, I would love the hell out of getting to see in live action. Let's see. Queerly Beloved, heart to you. You said, no questions, just want to say thank you for being you. Hope that you have a good evening. Aw, Queerly Beloved, thank you so much. Heart to you. Mwah. Sending you love. I hope you have a good weekend as well, my friend. Mwah. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Much appreciated. Albert Pedro Terrace. Heart to you. He said, speaking of Russian spy shows, Rip Gorbachev, your Peace Out commercial is still one of my favorite ads. Yeah, Gorbachev, interesting figure, passed away. I don't have much to say because I'm not I mean, I vaguely know about Gorbachev and everything, obviously, but yeah, not my, like, top awareness, so I don't want to say too much about him. But yeah, Gorbachev passed away. That's the thing. Owen Cullen O'Neill, I hate love you get to see Star Trek early. It sucks. It's one of those weird things, too, on my end, to be honest with you, because I get Star Trek shows early. It's when I don't get a ton of screeners for things that interest me. Star Trek is one of the few things that I get regular screeners on. I wish I got screeners on, like, House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings and stuff, because it would make me needing to stay up late and review those shows a lot easier. The frustrating, it's cool to get the stuff early. It's really cool to get the stuff early, and it makes my being able to record reviews ahead of time really helpful, so it helps my, like, work schedule a hell of a lot. Especially, like, right now, I've recorded all 8 of my Star Trek Lower Decks reviews already for the next, like, 6 weeks or so, which is nice, considering there's so many other shows that I'm reviewing, like House of the Dragon, She-Hulk, I'm going to be reviewing Lord of the Rings, Andor I'll be reviewing. There's a lot of shows coming out, so being able to get those out of the way early is super appreciated, but it also sucks. And again, I know this is, like, privilege problems, but it sucks because I have to sit on it and be like, this really cool thing happened, and I can't talk about it. It sucks. Because there are some really cool things that happen in this season of Lower Decks that I'm not allowed to say a damn thing on. And I want to. But soon, in 6 weeks, you will see. You will see. You will see. Let's see. Ooh, a Mistborn animated series with Picasso would be great. I would love... excuse me. Tasselhoff, Andrew Clegg, that's who I was talking about earlier. That's who I was trying to think of earlier. Tasselhoff. Tasselhoff would be a great character to see in live action. I would love the crap out of him. Excuse me. What did I see? A Mistborn book series? Hell yes. Brandon Sanderson has, like, hinted at there's something being adapted of his work, which would be awesome to see. He said maybe in about a year's time we'll be able to see people actually on set doing production of a Brandon Sanderson series. If they were going to do anything, Mistborn would be the one. Dear God, I love Mistborn. It is so good. It is, like, other than it not having as many queer characters as I would like. Other than that, that series is quite literally my favorite fantasy series. Besides, like, the stalwarts, like Earthsea and Lord of the Rings. But of, like, more recent fantasy series, Mistborn, easily a fave. It is so good, and I love it so much. Let's see. Do you think, Captain Omni, do you think prose novels is a better way for people who love superheroes but can't draw at all to get their super ideas out? Yeah, I mean, that's totally a legitimate way. I mean, you can also find an artist. I mean, well, I won't share that project. I mean, let's just say I would like to do some comic booky stuff, and then I can't draw for crap, but I can write, hopefully. I hope I can write well. We'll find out. Or maybe we won't. You get what I'm hinting at. I'm hopefully doing a comic. Anywho, that's beside the point. I'll talk about that more when I get there. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and I can't draw for crap. So, Hontas Farmer. Is that my phone? Oh, my phone's just being annoying. Let me just quick mute that, buddy, so I don't get that popping at me. Hontas Farmer, thank you so much. I know my face is awesome, even before the surgery. My face was awesome before and after the surgery, but I appreciate it quite a lot now, very much so. So thank you. You're lovely, Hontas. I don't know, John Vinnels, I don't know if you know Amphibia, but I love it. I haven't seen it, but I do know it. It's one of those shows on the list of like cartoon shows that I want to watch. I'm watching Gargoyles right now, but Amphibia probably, because the way I do things with my TV show watching is I watch the TV shows that are ongoing, like right now, like Lord of the Rings, She-Hulk, Better Call Saul that wrapped up, and all those shows. So I watch all those shows as they come out. But then at the same time, I usually watch 2 shows that I just binge through that are sort of back cataloged. And usually it's a 30-minute show that's just like a fun light thing, and a more like hour-long adult, like more serious tone series. So right now my 2 are Gargoyles and Leftovers. So I'm watching those 2 as my binge shows that I'm just sort of going through. And so once I finish Gargoyles, I think the next show that I watch will be Amphibia. We'll see, but I think Amphibia is probably the next one I'm going to watch. So yeah, Amphibia is great. Osiris Axe, Heart to you, thank you so much for your super chat. Jay, jumping ahead here. Jay, you said, hey, Jesse, just got home from a stressful day at work, so nice to see your live chat. I loved your recent Trek videos. Want to send you some. Aw, sending you some love too, Jay. You are lovely. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much. Adrian, what Trek episode should I watch high? Anything with the Ferengi and Deep Space Nine. Legitimately, just go to Deep Space Nine, look up Ferengi episodes, and watch it high. And I think you'll have a great freaking time. Early Next Generation, depending on the episode, is also fun to watch high. Because Early Next Generation is just weird and silly. And you're like, what the frack is happening right now? So those are kind of fun to watch high. But I would just recommend literally any Ferengi episode. Like, legitimately, just pick a Ferengi episode from Deep Space Nine, and you're probably going to do well. Except for Prophet and Lace. Missed that one. But other than that, enjoy the rest of them. Have a good night, Blue Wolf Antics. Thank you for being here. What if Licara Studios did... What is Licara Studios? I don't know that one. What do they make? Oh, Paranorman Core. Oh, that would be great. Box Trolls. Yeah. I love... Ooh, all those films are great. Coraline's great. Paranorman's great. The Box Trolls is great. Kupo and the two strings is great. And Missing Link is great. Coraline clearly being the standout. But Kubo and the two strings is also... Box Trolls is up there too. Missing Link and Paranorman I thought were okay. Didn't adore them, but I liked them. But definitely Kubo and Coraline and Box Trolls are fantastic. So yeah, them doing a Gideon the Ninth would be kind of fun. Bit adult for them though. Gideon the Ninth is a bit more adult than what they normally go for, but their style's great. I mean, they do more kid shows, kid focused movies, or at least kid friendly movies. But I'm here for it, 100%. Captain Omni Heart to you said, Jesse, I wish everyone in the stream happiness and hope you all become legends. I know you are. Heroes get remembers, legends never. Aw, thank you, Captain Omni. Mwah, you are a legend yourself. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Sending you love, Captain Omni. I won't be here to see your heart to this Gotcha Go, everyone. Well, sending you a heart anyways, Owen. Thank you so much. Mwah. Thank you for being here, my friend. Jess Irwin, Heart to you said, was going to say I was sad you weren't able to get to SDLV, but then I caught a virus there, so maybe not. Are you planning on coming to other convention events before Mission Seattle next year? Yes, actually, Jess. So I actually, if you want to see me, if I may, actually, might as well use this as an opportunity to hawk my wares a little bit. I'm actually going to be at Rose City Comic Con in Portland next weekend. So if you want to see me in person, I'll be at Rose City in Portland. Rose City Comic Con in Portland. I'm going to be on 2 panels, I believe. One on Friday and one on Sunday. So I'll be there the entire weekend. So yeah, if you're going to be at Rose City Comic Con, come and say hi if you see me walking around. Or come to the panels. I'll share information on the panels on my Twitter. Because I don't have the information on hand at the moment. But I'll share that information as soon as I can. And yeah. So that's the only one I'm planning on right now, but I'm sure I'll be at more. That's the only one I'm planning on right at the moment. But I think I got invited to another one. I just don't have the details yet. So yeah, I'll be around. I mean, I'll definitely be at Mission Seattle, which is the Star Trek convention coming to Seattle next spring, somewhere in that range. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Let's see. Yeah, She-Hulk did make fun of anti-SJWs, and it made me laugh. I enjoyed that. I mean, She-Hulk is fine. I mean, I'm enjoying She-Hulk, but it's kind of the feeling that I'm getting with a lot of this MCU, where it's like, I'm enjoying a lot of the projects right now, but I'm not loving any of them. I think the only one that I loved, and people are going to hate me on this, Loki I loved, and I think everyone agree. Loki I loved most of WandaVision. I thought those were 2 very awesome projects. And then, I personally understand why people don't like it. I love the Eternals to death. I have a soft spot for very diverse movies featuring an ensemble cast of characters trying to, like, save the world by going through, like, different, like, cultures and things like that. Sense8 is very much the same vibe as Eternals, and I have a soft spot for that. It's a very imperfect movie, but I really love the Eternals. Again, soft spot for it. I love diverse ensemble casts getting to, like, save the day in, like, big, grandiose ways. That being said, other than that, I haven't loved a lot of MCU stuff. She-Hulk is fine. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not, like, over the moon about it. It's like, it's okay. It's fine. I did like them taking out the anti-SJWs, though. That was great. Like, why do all women have to be superheroes now? I'm like, oh. Ooh, I liked that. Let's see. Kinnison, thank you so much for your super chat. I don't have anything to say. I just wanted to let you know I love your videos and I'm glad you're making them. Oh, thank you very much, Kinnison. You're lovely. Mwah. Mr. Krabs, I also, heart to you, thank you so much. Yar. Also, I want to expand on Sonic being political with Sonic Adventure 2 theme is how not addressing the horrible stuff in the past affects the next generation, the consequences of it. Yeah. Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn. Yeah, actually, never really thought about that. Huh. Sorry. You make me think of the Sonic Adventure 2 music. I love it. We talked about last stream about Sonic being an eco-terrorist, which is probably where Mr. Krabs is referencing. James Hodge, excuse me. In the watch party on Discord, I watched Threshold, and this is my first Voyager episode. Oh no! That's not the best Voyager episode to watch, so then again, it's a fun one. Everyone hates on Threshold. It's like, it's the worst Star Trek Voyager episode. It's a bad one, certainly, but it's a fun bad one. Like, Threshold is so bad, it's fun, Star Trek Voyager episode. I like Threshold. It's an always enjoyable time. Like, just Tom Paris yelling, pepperoni! It's one of the best moments in all of Star Trek Voyager. I love it. Martin Nasty said, hey, Jesse, you're awesome. You taught me so much. Thank you. Question, do you have any thoughts on the Dark Academia aesthetics and subculture? I love it. I love Dark Academia aesthetic. My friend, one of my best friends, Lucian Brinkley, he is a huge Dark Academia fan and actually does a tabletop RPG podcast about it called My Dark Academia? His Dark Academia? My Dark Academia is the podcast name. And I would highly recommend checking it out. I myself like Dark Academia as a culture. It is sometimes very like a it feels more like here's the way I put it, and this is meant to stereotype, but in like a not like serious kind of way. I see so many trans men drawn to Dark Academia as like a culture. Like, I think it's really, really cool and I love it. But, like, I see so many trans men drawn to that genre, whereas, like, trans women like myself are often drawn to, like, cyberpunk genres, which is kind of an interesting phenomenon, to be quite frank. And again, that's stereotyping and not exclusive. I'm not saying, like, only things or whatever are essentializing anything. It's just an interesting, like, trend. Like, I see so many trans women, myself included, like, loving cyberpunk stories. And then I see so many trans men like loving Dark Academia stories. It's kind of an interesting sort of trend. But yeah, Dark Academia is cool, right? It's a fun genre. Let's see. ZRYXIX, heart to you. Just wanted to send something. Enjoy your commentary. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Sending you love, my friend. Why would someone say rolling around at the speed of sound? I saw that in the chat and now I don't know where it went. Emily C ended up watching Star Trek The Next Generation very high with my fiance. I don't know if it was real or not. Yeah, it's Star Trek is fun. Star Trek is a fun high watch. I think generally no matter what series you watch, it'll be kind of fun to watch high. I think there's a couple things that get a bit too dark for that, like Nemesis is not Nemesis can have elements of it that are fun, but like the Troy stuff gets me upset. But I think generally, just on the whole, watching any Star Trek high is not a bad idea. Like, I'm trying to think if there's any Star Trek that's like not fun to watch on some level high, and I really don't think that there is. Yeah, other than a few episodes here and there, I generally think watching most of Star Trek High is honestly a great way to enjoy it, to be quite frank. So. Alright, I think I'm all caught up on Super Chats, which is good. So I can actually focus on the chat. Let's see. I feel called up for my love of Dark Academia. Sorry, someone awesome. Sorry. Does Picard count in that? Yeah, oh yeah, I think actually Picard for the most part would actually improve with being high, because I don't like season 2 of Picard, that I feel like watching a lot of that high would be kind of fun. Like all the stuff with the Queen, I think like the Borg Queen would be fun high. There's like Patton also plays like a talking holographic cat in one episode. That's gotta be fun high. Yeah, I feel honestly Picard season 2, I don't like that as a show very much, but I feel like it's a show that actually improves upon watching high. Picard Season 1, almost certainly too. Picard Season 1 I enjoy. I don't like Picard Season 1 all that much either. There are elements of it, but I think it's better than season 2. But certainly, like, that's the season that has the floating space orchid ships. So, like, hell yeah, that show is great to watch high as well. No, I think Picard is fun to watch high. I think you definitely watch Picard high. Honestly, I feel like the one that would be least fun to watch high would be Discovery. Of any of the shows, if I had to really pick one. Not against Discovery, but Discovery just like plays in such high emotions and like high stakes all the time that it's like somewhat unconducive to like a more laid back, like getting high environment. Because Discovery is like always at a 10. So I feel like that might actually be a little bit and also very high emotional. So you just end up like crying a lot if you're emotionally high, if you're an emotional high. So I think Discovery out of all of them might be the least fun to watch high. But even that, I still think you could have a lot of fun with it. So. Cryptid Joe, hey Jessie, love your content. Just wondering if you've ever seen any episode of Dragon Ball. Yeah, I used to watch every episode of Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. I haven't watched. I actually have the manga of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z in my other room. Like I have a huge collection of them. So I used to read them and watch the show as a kid. I actually used to collect a ton of the Dragon Ball Z card games. I had a bunch of the toys and stuff. I was a big Dragon. I mean, I was a seen as boy kid growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. Of course, I was into Dragon Ball Z and saw Dragon Ball Z. I was big into manga when I was growing up, like Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho, like all those things were like big parts of my childhood. I haven't watched all of Dragon Ball. I've seen all of Dragon Ball Z, but I haven't watched all of Dragon Ball. And I didn't watch much of Dragon Ball Z GT, and I didn't watch much, and I haven't watched any of Super. So I've seen all of Dragon Ball Z, seen, let's just say 40% of Dragon Ball, 15% of Dragon Ball GT, and then 0 of Super. I haven't watched any of Super yet. So that's my history. But Dragon Ball Z, I know the whole thing. Vegeta and Trunks are two of my favorite characters of all time. I love Vegeta and Trunks so much. Like, I adore them to death. Especially Trunks. Trunks was my sexual awakening. When he shows up and turns Super Saiyan and just cuts Frieza in half with a sword, I'm like, I think I might like boys. Boys are good. I'm here for boys. Yeah, I'm here for boys. And then I also like girls too. But Trunks was definitely a sexual awakening on many levels. So yes, very much so. Let's see. Ryan said, can you give advice to fans on what to do when reporting isn't enough? Example, one of the channels I watch is currently being dogpiled on a vid, but harassment isn't getting YouTube to stop. It's unfortunate. It's one of those things where we gotta, like, push back, and it needs to be something that we, like, it needs to be a collective action at certain points, like stuff like we saw last year with Twitch, where, like, people are pulling out the hate raids on Twitch, and, like we're seeing now that Keffels is currently spurring on with the sort of, like, pushing against Cloudflare to try and take down Kiwi Farms. Check out Keffel's Twitter, by the way, if you want to learn more about Kiwi Farms, and I've done a couple videos on it. Kiwi Farms being a horrible site that's written about me and many other trans people in very derogatory ways and led many trans people and other folks as well to suicide, as well as doxing and swatting many other people, trans or not. It's a horrible site, and anyways, beside the point. It needs to be more of a collective action. I, myself, have gotten a lot of harassment on videos because of YouTube and its algorithm. Like, for example, a recent one is the Matt Walsh video that I did. Because it is on Matt Walsh, and Matt Walsh is a fellow YouTuber. He does YouTube stuff fairly regularly. As a result of that very horrific, transphobic, toxic community also existing as an audience on this platform, whenever I do a video about him, it will often hit his community because it will sort of like, because I'm saying Matt Walsh in it, it churns it up to the Matt Walsh YouTube channel in his recommendations. And as a result, leads a lot of those people to come in and harass and attack and be insulting. the best thing I can do is like look up. There are great resources that can help you find ways to like create good blocks and things like that on your channel. And I also think just making sure you have a good support system, non-online. I mean, online support system if that's what you have, but an in-person support system is also very helpful. Also, just try calling YouTube, but again, I think needs to be a collective action against these people, to really push back in a more public way. Yeah, I think that's sort of the easy advice I can give at the moment. I think. Catching up on, did I miss a super chat? Just want to make sure I didn't miss a super chat here. Chloe, hard to you. Have you looked more into Wendy Carlos? Maybe do a future video on her. Wendy Carlos, I forgot. I actually forgot who that is. Wendy Carlos. Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned her last time. No, I haven't looked. I've been, like I said, my current focus is on finishing the Matt Walsh video and then also this other project that I'm working on. Those are my two focuses for now. And once I finish up those, I'm gonna have to do a positive video. So maybe Wendy Carlos would be a great one. Because I'll be honestly kind of frank, just with all of you, just so you know where I'm at personally at the moment. Like I said, my current two videos that I'm working on, I have a boys video that's coming out tomorrow that's basically done, and I'm finishing off the Matt Walsh video, and I'm working on this other video that I don't want to say too much about it right now because it'll be the next video that comes out in the middle of the month, and it's sort of a spin-off of the Matt Walsh video. But to be quite frank, it is a very difficult video to the point where, like I said earlier, I'm going to need to bring in a lawyer to make sure it's all good. And it's honestly a very dark video. It is not a very fun project to work on, and has been kind of a dark headspace to be in. And I'm glad is the wrong word, but I think it's an important video to do. Both the Matt Walsh one and the other one. You will see why when I release both of them, why they were important to do. Especially the Matt Walsh one, but both of them. But it's not fun. It's not fun to be there in my brain. And it does have a mental effect. Which sucks. I wish I could not have to put that emotional labor into the work. But it's part of how it works. And anyways, short version, I am going to need to do a positive video after these are done. And that just is what it is. I have a couple ideas. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Sex and Star Trek Deep Space Nine is certainly on the horizon, and that's probably the next big one that I'm going to do after the Matt Walsh one. Like, I have plans to do smaller videos between that, but Matt Walsh is the next big video one that I'm doing. And then the one after that it's going to be a big video will probably be the Deep Space Nine one that I want to try and aim to get out by the end of the year. But between that, I'll probably do smaller ones, and I want to do some more positive stuff because I kind of need it for my own mental health. Oh, thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate that. Thank you. I will say the lawyer that I'm getting, my dad's a lawyer, so I'm having, not him, but I'm having a friend of his look at it. To make sure I have all the wording right, because it's one of those, let me put it this way, it is a video where I am going to need to be very careful with how I word things, because it will be dealing with very dark subject matter, as well as, frankly, just dealing with things that are, they aren't now, but could go to court, not with me, obviously, or it could ultimately if I report it incorrectly, but the stuff in it could theoretically for other people go to court. I don't think they will, but it could be. And so I just want to make sure that if I'm going to report on that, I can do it right. So yeah, it's dark and difficult. So anyways, that got dark. You'll see why I'm talking. Like I said, I don't want to reveal too much because I don't want the people that I'm going to be talking about to get wind of what I'm going to be talking about beforehand, because then it could lead to other horrible things. But it is a video that will be rough. So I'll leave it there. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate that. Lady Tyler, heart to you, said, have you ever heard of Shavir Dion, a sword fighting spy from France who dresses as a woman? Ooh, That sounds fun, actually. I like sword fighting French women. Hot damn. Oh, she looks awesome. Oh. Oh, you look fun. Oh, I'm gonna definitely have to look her up. Or him up, excuse me. But that's great. Oh my gosh, love her. Also, Jamie Clayton. Yes, I did see Jamie Clayton looked amazing as Pinhead. I need to watch the Hellraiser movies. I haven't watched any of them. I have a feeling I'd love them. But I haven't watched any of the Hellraiser movies, and I'm very excited to see Jamie Clayton do Hellraiser, because she's probably going to be awesome in it. Super Desi, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. Mwah, you're lovely, my friend. Punk Rock Zoologist, you just good here. You will always stand by you no matter what you, trolls and bigots sent. Thank you very much, Punk Rock Zoologist. Yeah, I will say, like I said, the Matt Walsh video got a lot of harassment on it. It sucks. I kind of expected it. I assume the next 2 videos that I'm going to do, besides the boys one, will also get that same amount of harassment. Probably not even... The Matt Walsh one will probably not even be the one that gets the most harassment. It'll probably be the one in the middle. Again, you'll see why when I get there, because it will involve other YouTubers. I just gotta stop talking about it. Anyways, it's a video that'll be rough, and I appreciate you all standing by me when I do that one. Like I said, I'm doing my best to make sure that it is coming from a place of trying to be as empathetic as possible, but it's not gonna be a happy one. Anyways, we'll leave it there. So, no one threatened me. No one threatened me. I've gotten death threats in the past, but with the Matt Walsh one, no one directly threatened me. There were people that did say, like, in coded language, go, again, apologies for this language, they did say, like, go kill yourself. Again, that's to be expected. It sucks that it's to be expected, but it is to be expected. One second, I'm trying to find a thing. There we go. That sort of wording, to be frank, and I've talked about this before, to be honest with all of you, I generally do not get upset at people sending me harassment. Just like sending me transphobic harassment, saying things like 41% yourself, which is a coded phrase of go kill yourself. That is specific to trans people. It's a very transphobic phrase. I've talked about it before. That sort of stuff is absolutely horrible and unacceptable and not right in the slightest and needs to be fought back against and pushed back against. None of that makes me feel personally bad as like a person, because no one, and I've said this before, no one will ever make me feel bad for being transgender ever again in my life. I am proud to be transgender. I will always fight for trans people. I have no shame in being transgender. There's nothing to be ashamed about. I am very proud of who I am, the journey that I've had in my life, and for the community that I am so honored to be a part of, and the people that I care about, all of you. Trans people are beautiful and amazing and fan-frickin-tastic, and I will never, ever, for a second, ever again, feel any sense of shame or sadness or upset, and no one, because of that, and no one will ever make me feel that way ever again with their transphobia harassment. Ever. What I will say about trans harassment is 2 things. One, I will say it does get you in a dark, cloudy mood. You know, when I like make a video like a Matt Walsh video, and I see all that harassment on there, it does get you in a cloudy mood to just wake up or like look at like your comments and be like, and don't get me wrong, 80%, 75 to 80% of the comments are generally positive or nice. But you do sort of like see these waves of transphobic harassment come in, and it does sort of put you in like a crappy mood when you see all that, because you don't make videos to get harassment. Like, I don't make that video to get harassed. So that does kind of put you in a cloudy mood. That being said, they generally, and this is all what transphobia technically is, they all say the same like 5 things. Like, that's the thing that I always appreciate, is like, when I make a video on Matt Walsh, people who enjoy the video, or people even like critical of it but don't like, are like cruelly evil people, will actually always have like nuanced, thoughtful things to say. And thank you for all the hearts, everybody. I appreciate that. They'll always have thoughtful, nuanced things to say, but then the transphobes will just be like, yeah, you'll never be a woman. You look ugly. Like, they have like the same 5 things that they say, and it's just like, it gets you in a bad mood sometimes, but like, you never really feel that bad anyways, because it's like, yeah, be creative. They always make the attack helicopter joke. Like, seriously, people were making the attack helicopter joke on the Matt Walsh, and like, they unironically do this. Do they think that's funny? Anyways, I'm also missing some super chats, and I'll get to them in just a second. It's just like, come on, folks, be creative. If you're gonna be insulting, be creative. Dear God. The thing that gets me the most, and I think I mentioned this in the Matt Walsh video that's gonna be coming up. The thing that gets me the most about that stuff is just a sadness for them. Because I know a lot of them are people who have fallen into these right-wing holes. Like Matt Walsh's hole. Fallen into Matt Walsh's hole. And just don't have any other experience of trans people other than seeing us as an enemy. And instead of being open to conversations about issues, because certainly there are conversations to be had about things, about how best to do trans healthcare and things like that. I think there are nuanced conversations you can have about that. But instead of being open to that, all they see is the antagonistic world framing that people like Matt Walsh and a lot of right-wing stuff does today, where it's always us versus them. And they both see, it's all part of fascistic rhetoric, seeing your enemy as both powerful and weak at the same time, and that's really all they see trans people as, both these powerful villainizer, sexual abuser, child groomer, end of Western civilization causing people, and also, like, weak and, so sensitive, like, those sort of ideals about trans people, and that's all they see us as opponents. And it frustrates me, and saddens me, to know that there are these people that will only ever see me in that way. And that's I think, the largest emotion. Sadness and pity. That doesn't stop me from being willing to push back against them and fight them. Like, fascists need to be fought back against, regardless of how much there is to understand about how they've fallen into fascistic rhetoric and horrible views. You can understand that and pity them and be saddened that there are people in that worldview while also being like, I'm going to fight fascists. I won't say anything more than that because it'll probably get this video flagged or something, but fighting fascists is okay. So yeah, I will fight them, and I will get angry at them, and I have no qualms or moral compunctions about that. But when I see harassment like that, it does make me a little bit sad too. It is what it is. But yeah, that's the biggest feeling. Anyways, thank you for letting me rant about that. Let me just finish. I need to finish off this stream because I am actually going to be watching Lord of the Rings soon, so I need to go pick up some sushi for dinner. So I'm going to have some fun tonight. But I just want to quick run through the super chats. No more super chats from this point on, but I will address the ones that I have caught that are up here, but I just want to quick see them. Mr. Krebs, hard to use, said, also just say I want Insomniac to make Rivet and Kit spin-off game. Hell yes, I would love a Rivet game. Honestly, having never played a Ratchet and Clank game fully except for the recent one, I liked Ratchet and Clank. I actually kind of liked Rivet and Kit a lot more. That's just me. I really liked Rivet. That was me being a newcomer to that game franchise, so I don't have the history with Ratchet and Clank. So just coming into it fairly cold, I was like, I kind of really like Rivet. And Ratchet and Clank were great too, but I kind of liked Rivet quite a bit. Panda O'Doom, bail money for taking down the patriarchy. Thank you very much. We'll take it down one day at a time. Heart to you, Bumblebee. If you're me, I'd want to give you a hug. Thank you, Bumblebee. I'd give you a hug right back, my friend. Mwah. Chloe Bennett, only watch Hellraiser 1 through 4. Heart to you, and read the script for 4 to know how good and coherent it was before Miramax messed it up. I do want to watch the Hellraiser movies. One of my newest friends, one of my close friends who unfortunately passed away this year was a huge Hellraiser fan. Loved Hellraiser to death. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he always wanted me to watch Hellraiser. So I do want to watch Hellraiser really badly. I know I'll probably feel a twinge of melancholy watching the films because I know I kind of would have wanted to watch it with him. And he unfortunately passed away due to a heart attack several months ago, which sucks. Spoke about that in other places, but anyways, I do want to watch it. Just I know there's going to be a little bit of melancholy to watch those movies because I did want to watch them with him, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm sorry that I'm ending on such sad notes. I do want to watch them. They look fun. One of my closest friends loved them, so I know I probably will enjoy them. I mean, sexy kink demons are definitely my type of thing. I'm here for it. So yes. And then John Vinnels says, me thinking more than a little about Aryo Buddhist themes and Amphibia and possible anarchist themes in Owl House. A lot of I will say a lot of children's media does have very anarchistic themes, for the most part. Definitely like collectivist themes at the very least. Like Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beast is like the whole shtick of that show is like creating communities and sort of eschewing like single authoritarian power structures. Same thing with Owl House has that as well. She-Ra kind of has that too. Trying to think of like other ones. There's a whole bunch. Like a lot of children's media is directly anti-authoritarian and quite often anarchistic in terms of like eschewing centralized power structures and in those ways. I think even Star Trek Prodigy has that too, even though it's only been 10 episodes so far. Like they're very, very clearly they set up what's his face, John Noble's character, the Diviner, as this very powerful dude who's created this like mining like slaver like child laborers, essentially. It's child slavery in that show, and uses a lot of like tactics like keeping people unable to communicate with each other and things like that in that show that they fight back against with a diverse group of people that fighting for the Federation, with the Federation itself being a very like kind of communistic society, not anarchistic because there is central power authorities in the Federation, but a much more communistic and, well, I guess probably more socialist would be probably more accurate for the Federation. But anyways, regardless, a lot of the TV shows have those sort of things. All right, last one, Enemy My Enemy, and then I'm going to wrap out soon. I've had TERFs join my throat simply for using gender-inclusive icons in unrelated posts. They are pathetic, stay awesome. Yeah, TERFs just do that. TERFs are just like, oh, you're erasing women! I'm like, no one's erasing women. We're trying to be more specific with our language. People who menstruate, it's always the thing that just gets me. They're like, you're erasing women. It's like, no. Like that whole article that J.K. Rowling shared over a while ago. So you can't say women anymore. It's like the article itself says women. The title just says people who menstruate because that's accurate. There are trans men who menstruate. There are non-binary people who menstruate. There are intersex people who don't identify as women who menstruate. Like it's just literally more accurate phrasing. But it's like, oh no, we're erasing women. It's like no one's erasing women. Other than TERFs who erase many women. But trans people are definitely not the ones erasing women, which is always ridiculous. Anywho, hey Jessie, before you go, I have a quick question. Where does your bravery come from? What inspires it? All of you? I mean, I know this is gonna sound like pandering, and I guess it is in a way. And yeah, exactly. There are women who don't menstruate. Exactly, Owen. So that also fits that. But I'll end on this note, and I know what this is gonna sound like pandering, but I'll make sure I end on this. Oh, thank you, Testy Trekkie. I appreciate you. You are lovely. Sending you love. But I'll pander to the audience before I go. But it is all in all seriousness absolutely true. This isn't just meant to be a pandering. Legitimately, the bravery that I feel comes from community. I feel brave enough to put myself out there and put myself in the firing line, hopefully not literally ever. But I mean, I'm not, you know what I'm saying. I don't need to get that dark. Putting myself as like a figure to get harassed and targeted because I know I'm doing it for people. I never want to aggrandize myself. I'm not trying to play the savior. You know, I don't want to be seen as like, oh, Jessie, she puts herself on the line for all of us, and she's going to sacrifice herself at the feet of these alt-right, horrible Nazi trolls for us. Like, that's not my goal. I don't want to be seen as like the savior. What I will do, though, is I know I have the skill and ability and fortitude to be able to go up and say, like, hey, screw all of you for saying these horrible, terrible things. And I want to be able to fight for people that I care about, people who don't get heard, people who don't get seen, people who are in more danger than I am. I won't also deny that, like, part of my bravery, quote unquote, I hate that word necessarily, but like, comes from the ability that I have, comes from part of my privilege, as well. Like, I live, like, I'm not saying I can't be in danger here. People could dox me. People could find me here. There are certainly neo-Nazi groups in areas like Oregon and stuff. So, like, I'm not safe 100% anywhere as a trans person, but I live in a relatively safe city for trans people. I have ability to be safe. in a lot of ways. I have a family who affirms me. I live in a country, or at least a state that is fairly trans affirming, not a country, but in the state that is fairly trans affirming, or it leans that way. So the ability for me to do that, and also I'm white too. So there's that as well, that privilege. So my privilege allows me to allows me ability to put myself out there more in a way that could be dangerous, in a way that others who are less able and less privileged cannot. And I think that it is incumbent upon me, who is a trans woman who has the ability and skill to write this way, who has the platform and tools to be able to put myself out there, and who has the privilege and platform to be able to say these things. I think it's part of my it is my duty and my honor to do so. So yeah, I guess I'm brave, but it does not feel brave compared to all of you. And I think the ability and my desire to do that sort of stuff comes from the fact that there's a community of people that I care about, a community of people that I want to fight for, and a community of people who care about me. And so I appreciate all of you. Also, Star Trek, exactly as Super Desi say. Star Trek also inspires a lot of it too. You know, just that hope for the future and hope for art and belief in community and infinite diversity and infinite combinations. And even that just goes back to community. So, love you all. I appreciate you all. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to go get some sushi and watch Lord of the Rings. I was going to say Lower Decks, which is also true, but Lord of the Rings. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy Lower Decks if you see it. Enjoy Lord of the Rings tonight. I will try and get... Oh, announcements. Boys video out tomorrow. I'm going to aim to try and get a video of Lord of the Rings review out tomorrow as well. It might come Saturday, depending on if how late it gets when I watch the episodes tonight. So either tomorrow or Saturday, look for my Lord of the Rings review on my secondary channel. Video on the boys coming this week. I'm not gonna promise I'm gonna do a Saturday stream. I know I haven't been good with those lately. I know I've been missing out on them, and I've been wanting to do them, and I know I haven't done them lately. It's just been because I've been busy. But I promise to get to them at some point in the near future. I do want to finish Zelda, so that will happen. But most definitely Friday boys video. Friday boys video. I'm trying to remember. Friday's boys video. Possible Lord of the Rings review, or tomorrow, definitely by Saturday. I think that's it. And then I have Matt Walsh and other videos coming in the near future. That's everything. Mwah. You're lovely. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the morrow. Mwah, mwah, mwah.